Y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Sharifa, and my poetry name is New Lily. If you're new to my channel, please check out the links located in the description box and comment section. And in both locations, you'll find an identical set of links. Links that lead to videos that talk about what started my targeting in 2020, as well as links that lead to videos that share information about the targeted individual program. Information about the tactics used on targets, information about the technology used on targets, and info about the program in general, y'all. It's just, what to call this video? I guess I will call this part 2 refutation. If you listen to the last video, you'll hear me talking about 2 of the main gang stalking tactics that they're using on me in the targeting right now. This whole year has been filled with gang stalking activity, but that's just how it is when you're targeted. Every year it's something different. I mean, typically you have main forms of sensitization, whatever, is specific to your targeting. Everybody has a different targeting situation. But then also new things come up as you go along and you're targeted. So every scenario and every situation can turn into a targeting situation. That's just how it is. So in the last video, if you checked it out, as a matter of fact, don't listen to this video until you listen to the last video. So if you start here, y'all, this is a part 2, you're going to be lost. In the last video, you'll hear me talking about the 2 main forms of sensitization that they're using on me in the targeting now. And it's been this whole year. We're almost to December. The year is almost through. And it's been a whole year of these 2 main things that they've been using on me. One thing is this situation that took place with a personal trainer in the gym at the end of last year. Some random gang stalking stuff he started doing to me for about a month. And I had a reaction. I finally had a reaction to him just hardcore gang stalking for a whole month. And I had this nasty reaction where I thought offensive things in my head. And if you know how the targeting works, if you're not new to the program and you're familiar with COINTELPRO and the targeted individual program, then you'll be familiar with the fact that they use technology on targets. It's a high science program. If you are new to targeting and this sounds like foreign info to you, and even if you're not new, still check out the links in the description box and comment section. Yeah, I need to blow my nose. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to stop the video and blow my nose, but let me just quickly say this. But like I always say in the beginning of all of my videos, those links are pertinent, y'all, especially for targets, but for everyone. It's pertinent information. So the links just share info about the technology that they use on targets. There are patents for the technology. You have videos from other targets sharing their experiences. There's a video called Irrefutable Proof that the gang stalking program is real. And in that video, you'll see a clip from Targeted Tony, or a video. It's not a clip. It's more than a clip. A video from another target, a fellow target, Targeted Tony, where he put together a slideshow of different high-profile targets just to validate your experience. Because not only are everyday random civilians targeted, but they also target high-profile people. In fact, that's mainly who the program was created for high-profile targets, but now it's trickled into everyday civilians, and that's because there's an agenda behind the program. And if you check out the video in my description box and comment section from Robert Duncan, it's titled Harvard DARPA Scientist. I believe it's called Unveils Mind Reading Tech or something like that. If you check that video out, you'll hear Robert Duncan, a reputable source, a doctor/scientist who works for DARPA and is one of the progenitors of the technology. You'll hear him confirm that COINTELPRO is real, and you'll hear him talk about the agenda behind it. The intention is to use the technology on everyone, right? So that's why you see some random people getting targeted and they didn't do anything. They're not high profile. They didn't blow the whistle. They didn't even necessarily piss someone off that's well connected like I did. They're just getting targeted. You have some random people getting targeted. There are millions of targets, y'all, all over the world. And that's because there's this main, big, huge agenda behind it to microchip everyone and hook them up to a brain-to-computer interface, Robert Duncan described it as being called a hive mind, and all the brains in society will be connected. Anyway, I try not to talk about the controversial stuff, y'all, because that's certainly not helping my case. I want to get out of the targeting. And I believe the more I talk about these things, the more... I mean, I don't know what more I could do anyway. I haven't done anything, y'all. If you hear what started my targeting, it makes no sense, this level of punishment, or how long the thing has been going on for. So, I mean, really, you know, I don't even know if saying this makes a difference anyway. And this is public info, y'all. I'm not a whistleblower. I found this info out during the course of my targeting and from doing research. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. I went off on a tangent, excuse me, and started talking about that video from Robert Duncan where he talks about the agenda behind the program. But what I was initially mentioning was the video from Targeted Tony called Irrefutable Proof that gang stalking is real. So both of those videos are in the description box and comment section, and they both contain pertinent info that will validate your experience, so you can't be gaslit. Anyway, so in that Irrefutable Proof that the Targeted Individual Program is real video, Targeted Tony put together like the slideshow of different high profile targets that are considered reputable sources. So just check it out, y'all. This thing is real. It's a real thing that's going on. Anyways, y'all, let me stop and blow my nose. I'll be back. Anyways, y'all, I went off on a tangent now that I listened back to that first clip. I trickled off into talking about the technology used on targets because I was mentioning the offensive thoughts I thought in my head in response to what the personal trainer had been doing randomly for a month to me. So I, about a month after him, amping up, I wouldn't say amping up, but like just starting like these random gang stalking tactics in the gym. And to hear the story, y'all, check out the last video. I don't tell the story in the last video, but I do talk about it more in depth. And in the last video, I show you which video you can click on to hear the story. So anyway, I thought these offensive thoughts to what he had been doing to me for a whole month. And after that, it was just game day from there. I talked about it in the last video. I'm not going to retell the story here. So there was that scenario, the personal trainer from the gym, that sensitization where they're wearing yellow all over the island and doing all kinds of crazy gang stalking stuff and insinuating that I'm this thirsty, vapid female. It's just not true, y'all. It's just a bunch of lies and fodder. It's like this fanatical fantasy that they're living in. It's like this fanatical fantasy world that they're living in. If you listen to the whole story about the thing, you'll clearly see that I was not thirsty in the situation, y'all. Even when things went awry and they started doing gang stalking tactics because of whatever offensive thoughts I thought towards him, I still didn't react like a vapid, thirsty female. I wasn't offended by them bringing his girlfriend around. I was unfazed and unbothered. I didn't insult his girlfriend. I wasn't intimidated by her. Like, it's just this thing where they're biased and subjective. And that's what I've come to terms with. And that's what a lot of you targets are going to have to do. When you're targeted, you're villainized and you're painted as the villain. And so you have large quantities of people that are against you and that have subjective, biased feelings towards you. Don't think they're stupid, ignorant, or naive. They can very clearly see through every scenario and situation that's going on with you. It's not about them not understanding what's taking place or, not understanding where you're coming. They can see what's going on. It's called bias and subjectivity. And so their own personal feelings towards you come into play. So you can be as right as rain. It does not matter. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the sooner you'll be able to be okay with some of the unfair shit that starts happening when you're targeted, right? Y'all, let me wait. Somebody's on the porch getting ready and stuff. So I'll finish the video when the person leaves so that they don't get distracted. I'll be back, y'all. Anyways, y'all, I'm back. So it's just bias and subjectivity, and that's how it works. Every target that I've heard content from have talked about the same thing. It's actually a tactic. One of the main forms of one of the main tactics that they use on targets is gaslighting and isolation. So there will be situations, many, typically all, if not most, that you're right in, but you'll be gaslit to feel like you're wrong. And, just crazy stuff, y'all. Crazy activity that's takes place when you're targeted. Sorry, somebody went out on the porch and not confused me, but it distracted me. So anyways, y'all, back to what I was saying though. It just is terrible, y'all. So, and it's like this thing where they try to paint it like, it's just major gaslighting. So you try to make it like I'm stupid or I'm slow or I'm not catching on to what's going on. Like they're perpetuating this narrative of thirst as a form of antagonization to make me feel accused. Like they're painting a false narrative about me because I quote unquote bear false witness. So they're pushing all these false narratives at me, but that's not what took place with the personal trainer, or else they would have been doing that the whole year. They literally started doing that after I had a reaction to what he was doing to me for a whole month. So they're trying to gaslight now and flip it and make it seem like it's this thing where, that's just part of what we're doing. And they're mixing it with the narrative from the text message, the false narrative that was created. If you listen to my story, you'll hear about it, y'all. The false narrative that was created from the text message, in addition to a bevy of other false narratives that they're throwing at me, salacious things on purpose, again, to make me feel accused because I supposedly bear false witness. If you listen to the story, y'all, you'll realize that none of the things that I ever said or did were with malicious intent. And the only time I truly bared false witness genuinely was over a decade ago, y'all, with this dude that I used to talk to, that I had a friendship with. We weren't even together. Over a decade ago, I was dealing with trauma from my last relationship before I started talking to him. Again, you have to listen to my full story, y'all, to know what's going on. And so I had this ex. I was with him initially in my teens. I was 18 or 19 when I got with him. Felt like look at them revving in the background with their craziness. I felt like I was too young to be in such a serious relationship. The relationship moved way too fast. Him and I were living together, etc., etc. So I ended up ending the relationship with him. And about 2 years later, him and I got back together. He ended up taking my V card and leading me on. And I had held on to that for years and years and years. And so it almost felt like this revenge type thing. I don't know if that's what it was, or I just came back around and he was no longer interested. I don't really know. Maybe the way I broke up with him made him feel like he could never take me serious again. I don't really know, to be honest. I wasn't in his brain, but I do know that he knew how important that was to me, and he took it and then led me on. So I dealt with the trauma of that situation and not trusting. And then directly after, I ended up talking to this dude, and I ended up accusing him of something. If you listen to my full story, you'll hear the whole story, y'all. I'm talking about the cyberstalking, cyberbullying guy. And the reason I refer to him as such is because what resulted from that situation was years and years of cyberbullying and cyberstalking and men trying to set me up here on island. And hold on, y'all. Let me just let that person... I know I keep stopping. It's ridiculous. A lot of my videos are like this, but there's always some sort of distraction in the background. I have a family member that's about to drive off, and he has a loud engine. It's like a Rev campaign engine, unfortunately. So let me just let him drive off. I'll come back and finish the video. All right, y'all, I'm back. Y'all, I'm exasperated as usual. Same thing I said in the last video. I'm tired of talking about this shit. Honestly, I thought the last video would have been it. I thought after the last video, they would stop the nonsense. No, I was wrong. More gang stalking today about the same redundant situation. I don't know what they want from me. It's like it's up and stuck. It's like they don't know what forgiveness is or how to move forward. It's so toxic. So anyways, back to what I was saying though, y'all. Those of y'all that have been keeping up with my videos, you know the whole story with the cyberstalking, cyberbullying dude, and how for a whole year that was the main sensitization they were using on me until they eventually let that go. And they still haven't let it go, really. That's what all of this truly and ultimately is about, as it pertains to the men, at least. But at least they're not directly gang stalking me about that specific situation. Now it's the gym guy and the coworker, the female coworker. Those are the two main forms of sensitization that they're using on me now. So again, I want to talk about it in this video, y'all, because they did more gang stalking stuff today that I don't understand. I don't understand why they can't move forward from the situation. I've already apologized for my reaction to what was being done randomly for a whole month. I've humbled myself down to the dirt. I don't know how much more humble they want me to get. I've complimented the individual multiple times genuinely. I complimented his girlfriend when they were going low and trying to, insult me or come for my self-esteem. I guess my reaction to him bringing the girlfriend around, I keep saying this, wasn't what they were looking for. I still think they haven't gotten what they're looking for as far as my reaction goes. Look, they're chirping. I think that's what it is. So bringing the girlfriend around wasn't garnering the response they were looking for. So they attacked my self-esteem with his friends in the back room. I still didn't diss his girlfriend because I wasn't affected. I don't know what they want from me. I don't know what they want from me. I don't. It was to the point where I was so comfortable, despite him bringing a girlfriend around, that I was working out in the gym with him and his girlfriend. They were in front of the mirror. I didn't give a rat's bum, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I didn't. And it's like that bothered them or something, because then they made his friends diss me in the back room. I still didn't diss the girl because I don't have anything with, well, now she's done some heinous stuff, so there are some sort of feelings there. But before she had done anything, I didn't have an issue with her. She was just this random miscellaneous female that's now inserted into the picture. It was his friends. His friends insulted me. One of them had been checking me out on multiple occasions. So I went off on them. I didn't diss her because she didn't do anything to me. And he's not my man. I don't want him. They keep saying this he don't want. I don't want. Okay? The reason I said the man was my type was because they were sticking this cocky, pompous ass, excuse me. No disrespect to him. I don't want issues with this man. But at the moment, that's how I felt about him. They were sticking him on top of me. And he was acting cocky and pompous. And it was reminiscent of some of these dudes that had tried to set me up in the past. Specifically the sushi man that I did talk about in one of these recent videos when they were insinuating that there had been some bet going. If you check out my prior videos, y'all, the recent videos I've made, like the sex tape scandal videos, etc., you'll hear the whole rundown. Anyway, so he was reminding me of those fellas that I had encounters with in the past. And so I purposely called out in a video like a dumbass. Knowing how the targeting works and knowing that you're vulnerable when you say certain things. I'm thinking I'm using my own tactic. I called the dude out because he seemed like this humble, nice, ivory Rasta man that was around helping people. And he wasn't on top of me being cocky and pompous. And it backfired down the line. Not immediately. It's not like as soon as I did that, they started doing the water bottle thing. Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, you're doing it like with the other stuff to make me feel this kind of way, like you're pushing this false narrative. You didn't start doing it until almost a year later, after I insulted him in my brain because he started doing gang stalking stuff for a whole month randomly, or at least what felt like randomly. That's when they started pushing the thirsty thing and all the dudes coming in acting like they're guzzling water. Ironically enough, being thirsty in the process because you're doing things to get my attention. Albeit adversely. You're still doing stuff to get my attention, so you're the one being thirsty. Ironically. Nonetheless, I've humbled myself, man. I've apologized for the nasty thoughts I thought about the man that one day. I'm ready to move forward. I want to go in there and work out in peace. I put the man in there the other day. I don't know what are they hoping for? Some big spectacular reaction so the whole island can watch and it can be like some sort of fanfare? What did they expect? I turned around and I tried to freaking isolate away. I tried to shut out and pretend like I didn't see him. I'm traumatized. I used to work out around him while his girlfriend was there. I didn't care. He's not a bad dude, but I'm targeted. I wasn't trying to get next to the dude. I wasn't trying to get with him. I'm not thirsty. I had his number. I didn't use it. I wasn't wrapped up like you thought. So the girlfriend thing didn't bother me. Also, she doesn't intimidate me. No disrespect. I have to keep saying the no disrespect. She doesn't intimidate me. So anyways, it's just like this nonstop beating with this situation. I'm tired. I am too through with it. I just want to go to the gym and work out. That's what I signed up for the gym for. Y'all, I didn't sign up to get in the gym for man and drama. That's not what I signed up for. I signed up to work out. That's what I signed up for. I didn't sign up for men and drama. That's not what I'm going to the gym for, or else I would go to the club. I'd get dressed and I'd go to the club and look for men and drama. That's not what I'm going to the gym for. So anyways, y'all, now today, right, I'm thinking everything's good after I done made the last video complimenting genuinely the man. I actually, again, let me reiterate, I think he's a good person outside of whatever caca he started doing to me at the end of last year. I've observed him over the course of the whole last year. He seems like an Irie Rasta man. Okay? Aside from the low negative or adverse interaction we had that led to a whole year of gang stalking on top of me. From what I observed, I think he's a good person. I figured after making that last video, everything would be good. They were chirping, you know, they do this bipolar type of activity with the target, and they're chirping like I'm thinking everything's okay. They're still doing stuff. They set the man into the gym. They made him come in during my session now, y'all. I'm actually going earlier. I changed my whole gym time. They made him come in. First, they had the pompous dude in there. Again, maybe that dude's a good person too. I haven't really worked out around him enough to know. All I saw of him was him acting like this cocky person that they put on top of me. That's all I saw of him. It's not like I was working out with him for the whole year. I'm sure he's not a bad person either, okay? Whatever it is, for me and the perception I have of him, it's the cocky person, right? They stick him in the gym. While yesterday, man, during my session when I came, not yesterday, when was it? Monday. I went in and he was already in there. So I'm like, oh my God, it's really going on and on and on. I'm like, I just made that last video. I'm like, surely they're done now. All kinds of gang stalking activity. I'm like, are you kidding? They're still pushing this thing? Then the man himself comes in while I'm on the Smith machine. I'm like, when is it going to stop? If I were his girlfriend, right, or if I were in her shoes, what I would be focused on is saying, you stay out of this, okay? Remove yourself from the situation. We're in a relationship right now. Remove yourself from the situation. That would be me. And that's how I would move. I'm not a possessive person, but that's how I would be operating. So I don't understand. Why do you want him to be stuck up on top of me? I don't get it. I wouldn't want my man to be stuck up on someone else. I don't understand it. I would have been like, remove yourself from the situation. We're together now. Let the other dudes do whatever it is that's taking place. Why are they doing this? I don't really understand it, y'all. Anyway, so they did that, right? And I refused to let that mess up my workout. I got through the whole workout. I did my whole workout. I left. After I left, the day passes or whatever, the next day happens. I didn't make a video about it. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're still going. But I didn't make a video about it. I didn't document it, nothing. I was just like, wow. I remember going home and them doing all kind of gang stalking noise campaigns on top of me, like trying to make me anxious about the situation or something. I don't know. There's something they're looking for from me. There's a reaction they're looking for that they haven't yet attained. They're trying to get some sort of reaction out of me, and I don't know what I need to give them. I don't know if I need to take some acting classes and figure out how to fake cry to make them stop. I don't know if I bust some tears, some disingenuous tears, if that will make the thing stop. I don't know what they want from me. I'm not a fake person. As much as they like to sound fake with the technology, I'm not a fake person. I don't know if they want me to fake emotion and fake like I'm bust down and crying about it, and then that's going to make things get better. I don't know. But anyways, so I go to the gym today now, warily. I'm like not knowing what to expect. And I ease on in there. And I see a gang stalking right at the station where they know I have to do my workout. They have two Spanish guys. They're one in a white and red. You know, the red and white is sensitive. Wait, hold on. Before I even got there, though, y'all, as I'm walking in the gym, this guy walks out of the gym. This tall dude that I went to high school with, right? And he has a stupid look on his face. It's just the dumb, stupid look they get when they're gang stalking and they're excited to be a part of whatever this thing is. Like, it's like a badge of honor to get recruited to be a part of this dumb crap. It's so frustrating. So anyways, he walks out and he has a smirk on his face. So I did a U-turn and I kind of just so I wouldn't have to walk by him, and I went on the weights on the weigh on the scale to weigh myself. And I typically do that anyway. I've been doing that a lot these days. When I get in the gym, I weigh myself. I've been keeping up with my weight since my diet has changed and I'm intermittent fasting. I've just been trying to keep up with my weight because it's been fluctuating between 173 and 176, which is a good weight for me. I'm 5'8", y'all. So anyway, I typically do that anyways, but I specifically made sure to do it because I don't want to walk by him, and I know the dumb gang stalking crap is going on. I see the look on his face. I'm like, oh boy, someone else trying to get clout off of the situation. You know, they already used him the other day when I got off work. I didn't say anything about it. I got off work. Remember I told you they gave me some hours at the facility, which made me excited. They gave me some night shifts at the facility, and then I'm supposed to be training for some new position at my security job, right? So anyways, I noticed I got off work from the facility and I headed to get gas instead of going straight home. I drove past my neighborhood. I said, let me go put gas in my tank. And there are certain gas stations I like to go to, y'all. Ones that don't typically get that packed. Those are the ones I like to hit. They do get packed at certain times, but for the most part, it's kind of sparse, the people or the amount of people that pull up. So, sorry, y'all, I'm hearing noise. That's my brother pulling up with the big loud car again. I think he has someone in the car too, so I don't think he's staying. He's probably here to get something real quick. I might end up stopping again, y'all, and starting back. Anyway, so I passed my neighborhood and I went to get, excuse me, I went to go get gas. And so I was dressed kind of bummy this day, right? I had went to work, I was wearing my clothes, and I had a big sweater on, and I had a stocking cap on my head because I started doing my hair on Sunday. And so I had the little small braids in to put extensions over, but I hadn't gotten to putting the extensions in, right? This was Sunday night, Monday morning, actually right before I went to the gym and had that weird encounter with the trainer guy. So I remember driving, you know, like I said, and just kind of sitting in the car because I've been dealing with a lot of gang stalking recently, as I've told y'all in recent videos. And I was kind of dressed kind of bummy, like I told y'all, even though they're watching me 24/7 anyway. So they've seen me every which way. I just didn't feel like dealing with anything that morning, right? So I sat in the car and I just waited. You know, there was one car pulled up at the tank. I waited for him to leave, and there was a truck, I think, pulled up. I waited for those two vehicles to leave. Another truck pulls up with a guy in it. So just in case it was gang stalking, I waited that out too. When everybody left and the gas station was clear, I came out the car, I went in to get my gas. Spoke to the attendant, I told her how much gas I needed, whatever. I'm walking out to my car. I see this guy pulled up, pumping gas in an army pants. And I look and I realize this dude I went to high school with. He was in the same grade as my older sister. And coincidentally enough, he used to have a crush on my older sister. A lot of those guys did. It was the basketball team, those dudes that play basketball in the public school I went to. So I noticed he had the army pants. So I know they told him to come there because I know they saw me sit in my car and purposely wait for all the cars to leave before I went in there and got the gas. So now he purposely acted like he put in the gas thing inside of his tank. I'm like, there's no way he could be pumping gas without going in and paying first, because these are not the pumps like in the States where you can use your card at the pump. There might be one gas station or two down here that has that, but that gas station I was at does not have that. So you have to go in and pay for your gas. So I'm like, how is he standing there with the thing inside the tank when before I went in he wasn't even there? And I know he didn't come inside to pay for gas and he's wearing the army pants. So I'm like, oh God, they done recruit him now. And the reason I knew it was recruitment before I saw him in the gym today was not just the army pants, but because, like I said, I recognize him. I went to high school with him. He was in the same grade as my older sister, about 3 grade levels ahead of me, right? And he makes sushi here on island. He has a big sushi business here on island. Similar to the other guy that I recently talked about in these videos, the sushi guy. Little bit, that guy's older than him. The guy that they're using now on me is my sister's age, my older sister's age. The sushi guy is like in his early 40s, I believe. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie, it was such an irrelevant part of my life, or an insignificant interaction with him and I had, because it was so horrible. It's not like it's like I remembered specific details about him. I know he was older. I remembered at the time, whatever age he told me was very close to the age of the cyberstalking, cyberbullying dude. And that dude's about the same age as the guy in the gym, you know, like early 40s, about a decade, or, you know, 9 to 10 years older than me, that type of thing. So they're a little bit older than that dude that was at the gas station, who's about 3 years older than me, my older sister's age, those basketball dudes. Anyway, they still probably know each other. It's a small island and they're both in the sushi business. I'm sure they know each other. So I'm like, oh my God, I said, I'm pretty sure they're recruiting him now because they haven't used him. The whole year they've been using all these dudes on me to gang stalk because of whatever with the personal trainer. They didn't use this guy. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing him at the gas station now that things are kind of amping up. And I recently talked about what happened with the sushi guy, the one that gang stalked me or tried to set me up back in the day prior to the targeting going viral. So I'm just like, I think they're using him because he's probably in cahoots with that guy. They both make sushi. So I didn't say anything, though. I just walked by and I pretended like I didn't see him. And I went in my car and I remember feeling exasperated. And I said, oh my God, hopeless. You know, just this hopeless, stuck feeling. I was like, oh boy, another one. Right? So I get in the car, didn't say anything about it. I didn't make a video, nothing. I just drove off and noticed I see some stupid people smirking. I guess they thought it was random miscellaneous gang stalking and they don't know that this is someone, again, that was recruited. Anyway, so I got in the car and I was like, oh boy. You know, feeling exasperated, but I didn't say anything about it. So I left, right? And left the gas station, went home. This was yesterday, right? No. This was Monday, like I told y'all. When did this happen? This happened, it was either yesterday morning or Monday morning. I can't remember, y'all. It's all blurring together. It's one big blur of gang stalking. Anyway, so nonetheless, now I go to the gym today. And as I'm entering, I see that same dude, the tall dude, walking out. Now they're actually sticking him in the gym with me. I'm like, really? Seriously? I mean, I don't know him personally. I'm not going to lie. It's not like we've ever had conversations. But I know him. I don't know him, but I know him. You know that kind of way where you went to high school with someone and you know who they are, but you don't know them as a person. You never had a convo with them. That kind of thing like that. And also he was older than me too. My sister kind of knows him. My sister has had conversations with him. He used to have a crush on her. Anyway, so nonetheless, y'all, I was like, oh my God, now they're using this guy. I'm like, oh boy. So anyway, once he left out, I went in the gym. I'm like, okay, that's, you know, they're just going to have him walk by me. I'm not thinking it's going to be anything more than that. I go to the area where they know I'm supposed to be stationed to work out. This is my simple gym day, y'all. Hold on. Let me let this drive by, y'all. Let me let him leave. Thank God I'm a strong person. Anyways, y'all. So you know, this is what happened now. I walk into the gym and I go over to the cable area where I'm supposed to be doing my ab workouts. And I see two Spanish guys standing there. One is wearing red and white, the gang stalking colors, and he's holding a bottle of water and sipping the water. And they're having a full-on conversation right in front of where they know I'm about to work out. So I'm like, oh boy, let me just block it out. So I just did my workout and I completely ignored them. I saw the guy get a little bouncity. He dropped the cap of water on the floor. He picked it up. Continued to gang stalk. I remember him coming on the machine right next to me eventually and working out. And I remember thinking in my head, is this ever going to end? And then I just continued to do my workout and left up out of the gym. And I just said, I have to talk about this, man. I'm like, this is just ridiculous what they're doing, man. You know, it's to the point where they're now recruiting. This is not the first person I went to school with that they recruited. If y'all look at, which video was it where I talked about it? I think it was the part 3, target to the individual angry rant. They recruited another dude from my past that I talked to personally, right? So not just like an acquaintance that I went to high school with, an actual person that I talked to in the past. And I showed y'all screenshots of messages he just sent me in 2022. They recruited him and had him in the gym acting a plum fool. So there's some dudes that had issues with me from the past that I didn't even know were holding grudges that they've used in the targeting. It's just ludicrous to me, the amount. that there are. Like, I had to reevaluate my life and be like, damn, were you really a bad person? Like, I had to reevaluate and look back. I was like, I wasn't bad. I'm like, oh my God. And that's not the case with this guy that I just mentioned. I don't know him like that. I never knew him like that. He, like I said, had a crush on my older sister, and he knew her. They had conversations. I don't know him like that. I'm not going to fake the funk. There were a few basketball dudes, right? His friends or whatever that added me on Facebook last year, at the beginning of last year. Actually, one of them, my sister actually had a crush on. And they both kind of had like this flirtationship going on, but nothing ever happened with it in high school. He didn't write me. He didn't like any of my pictures. Nothing like, he probably maybe just being nosy because they went to school with me and they all see what's going on here on island. But a couple of them did add me on Facebook. That's about as far as that went. You know, none of them have done any gang stalking stuff thus far. I did have a conversation with one of them that drives the public bus. Oh my God, I talked about him in prior videos. I remember that day him and I were just talking innocent conversation about basketball. The man didn't hit on me, not even remotely. No compliments, nothing. We were simply talking about basketball in high school. They started revving by and glaring at the man, all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway, so that's the interaction I've had with those guys. They haven't really been gang stalking or used as gang stalkers until recently, like I said, that guy I just mentioned. And I think they feel like he's a good person to use because he is in the sushi business. I think that's why they're using him. So anyways, so it's still going on, y'all. That's the point. It's still happening. I just think it's madness, especially since I've been humble in this situation. And I've done nothing but compliment and compliment and compliment. Even with the girlfriend, even when the girl dissed me, she started to malfunction, is what I'm calling it. When I handed her the phone with the picture, if y'all look at the story, check out, like I said, the last video and you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you where you can hear about the interaction that she and I had recently. I don't want to talk about it before they set her in there. I don't want any more interactions with her. No disrespect to her. I don't want any more anything. I don't want. I just want to go in and work out. But I'm just saying, I'm calling it a malfunction because she started doing this weird blinking thing and then she started dissing me. So, even after that, though, I didn't diss that girl. I never dissed her. Up to now, I haven't. I don't feel the need to. The only thing I did was, I'm not going to lie, I started acting cocky. I just thought, because remember, again, they can hear your thoughts in real time. I said, really, sweetie? I said, I know you see how that picture looks or whatever. I said, let's compare. Some stupid, corny ass, whatever. I didn't care. And I just went in and I was using the Smith machine and looking at myself in the mirror and acting cocky. Just because I knew what was going on, the way she like started some, what I was calling a malfunction after I handed her the picture. Because they were trying to do this bullying tactic and it backfired. That's just really what happened. And then after that, it's like I got real retribution. They started, hinting at, recording my sexual encounter in my apartment with my ex-boyfriend. They started to, like I told you on the recent videos, push a false narrative about that. And that type of stuff like that, y'all. So that's what led to the sex tape videos that I recently made where I said, what to do if someone is secretly recording you. Like, this thing has gone far, y'all. Like, if I weren't a strong person, I would have been through. I'm telling you, if I didn't have the strong mentality that I have, I would have been through. I'm telling you, all the stuff they've been doing and that they have done to me. Anyway, so I just had to document, y'all, that even after making that last video that I would consider to have been a positive video, they're still doing gang stalking stuff. And it's still continuing. And I don't know what they want from me. That's what I don't know. I don't know what they want from me. And then they were kind of pushing again, too, the thing with the girl. Even though I said what I said in the last video, too, about it being technological. So now I want to pull up a video, y'all, from a doctor. And I got this from a fellow Targets page. And he shared this video from Dr. Philvey, a reputable doctor, that was talking about the functionality of the technology and how it syncs with your brain, right? And how it can actually create thoughts in your brain that aren't authentically yours. So, again, don't take this for face value. I'm not having any of the thoughts that he references in the video. I haven't had any violent thoughts. I haven't had any creepy thoughts. But I have had obsessive compulsive thoughts about the situation and the girl. I'm not going to lie. And I've never been through anything like that in my life. I keep saying it. It's weird. And they've been viewing my thoughts for the last 3 years to my knowledge, and they know full well they haven't seen anything like that. That's why they're honing in on it the way that they are. It's just strange. And you have other targets that complain about this too. It's hella coincidental. I'm sure there might be some authentic attraction there. Like I said, she's a beautiful girl, right? But at the same time, you know, it's the way the thoughts, like, just this kind of bum, bum, bum. Yes, I do overthink stuff. I do. I have that tendency. I have OCD. And that's a part of it. Like these obsessive compulsive thoughts where you overthink things, or you're an overthinker. But not like this. It's weird. I've never been through anything like it in my life. And they've been viewing my thoughts. They know what I'm saying is true. It's odd. So anyway, let me play this video for y'all real quick. With Dr. Phil V talking about the technology.
The AI so sophisticated that what you have fed into the AI is going to be so connected to you based upon that technology that it will be feeding you instructions that will mimic your thinking process. Be feeding you instructions.
Y'all heard that? He said it will be feeding you. It's not been feeding me instructions. I don't feel like I'm being instructed to do anything weird or creepy. I'm not having violent thoughts. I don't feel like I'm being fed instructions. But he's basically saying that it becomes so in sync with you and your brain. This is some high science stuff, y'all, that it can push thoughts into your brain that would mimic your thinking process, but it's not your thoughts. So if you find yourself having odd thoughts that you haven't had before, know it's the technology. What's funny is I shared this video like about 2 years ago before I actually went through this experience with this coworker.
That will mimic your thinking process. Will be feeding you instructions that will mimic your thinking process. This is why they found this out, that the computer took over this dude. Found this out, that the computer took over this dude. And he was following the instructions of the AI system, which is why Elon and them came out right after that and said, we got to shut this thing down. It's becoming sentient.
Y'all, in reference to what he just said, there is a prior video where I showed you all a clip from Elon Musk. Just how he just said Elon Musk realized after what happened with this dude he's talking about that was microchip with the technology and had the nano in him. After it supposedly, quote unquote, took the dude over. That's not happening to me, thank God. I don't feel like it's taking me over. But those thoughts I do find to be strange and out of the ordinary. Anyway, so Elon Musk made the comment that the technology is becoming sentient. So that's to tell you, and there's another video, like I said, with Elon Musk where he was saying that the technology is like summoning the demon. I'm going to see if I can find that video and play it for you all after I finish sharing the video with Dr. Phil V. Found it. So hold on a second, y'all.
But they say it's too late. Sentient. But they say it's too late. How you become more protected is to understand, and this is what our university is about. It's teaching you the techniques to know whether or not you're thinking your thoughts based upon you. It's to know whether or not you're thinking your thoughts based upon you. Whether you are thinking your thoughts or your thoughts are thinking you.
This is all.
Understand that you have to become very, very cognizant of what it is that your thoughts are telling you.
This is all gang stalking, y'all. This is all remote neuron monitoring. You know what I'm talking about?
You start thinking about killing babies or doing certain crazy stuff, know that ain't your thinking. Killing babies or doing certain crazy stuff, know that ain't your thinking. Know that you are being given certain, they have the way to project thought processes into your brain to align with your, they have the way to project thought processes into your brain.
You hear that, y'all? So he said, are you thinking your thoughts or are your thoughts thinking you? And then he's talking about weird thoughts. I'm not even going to use the example he gave. I'm not having anything remotely near to those type of thoughts. But these are just examples he's giving because some targets have documented some crazy stuff. That's not happening to me. The most otherworldly thought I've had, like I said, are these obsessive compulsive thoughts about this person. And I'm just like, what the heck? I've never been through anything like that in my life. And he said they have the way to project thought processes into your brain. I don't know if it's a specific person programming the tech or if it's just like the tech takes over and, I don't know how the thing works. It's high science. I just know I haven't been through anything like it in my life. And the proof is in the pudding because they've been monitoring my thoughts for the last few years. And this is the first piece of activity that they've seen that's looked like this intense. You hear the noise? That's why they honed in on it. It's weird.
Given certain, they have the way to project thought processes into your brain to align with your aura to make you think that you're hearing sounds that sounds like your thoughts. That's how the technology has become so sophisticated.
He said that's how the technology has become so sophisticated, and that's a doctor talking about this stuff, y'all. And to tell you I'm not no creepy person, despite whatever thoughts I was having about the situation. In person, they know too. They were watching when she and I would interact. I was, you see them barking in the dark because they know full well I was actually hiding from her at a certain point because I was so humiliated by the thoughts. I'm not this obsessive, creepy type person. Like, I was actually like a dodging and avoiding interaction because I was so humiliated by the whole thing. And she would come and talk to me, and act normal, and then I would feel a little bit better about the situation. But I was actually like ducking and dodging. There was a point even in the office when she had come in to show me how to use the front, the scanner. Because remember, I was working at a prison facility, y'all, or jail. So she was, coming to show me how to use the scanner. And I was hiding, no pun intended, I was hiding in the storage closet in the front office. I was sitting there anyway charging my phone. But she came in and was trying to, get me to show me how to use the machinery. And I remember kind of just ducking into the closet. This sounds wrong, but I actually remember I was sitting on this sliding chair. And I had moved over to the closet when she came in. And I just slowly but surely started to sink deeper and deeper into the closet. And then she kept calling me. She kept saying, "Nurse, nurse." And I was acting like I didn't hear her. And then eventually I finally went and got up. Like, I was totally avoiding interaction because I was embarrassed about the thing. Anyway, y'all. So I just had to talk about it because they're still pushing all the bullshit and doing stuff. And I don't know why. I don't know what they want from me at this point, y'all. I'm just frustrated. If you listen to the last video, the part 1 to this video... Excuse me, I need to blow my nose, y'all. I'm sorry. You'll hear that I said nothing but positive things about the trainer. Again, humbled myself and complimented him genuinely. And it's like I'm still being antagonized. I don't know what they want from me at this point. I don't really know. Anyway, I'll talk to you on the next one. I just had to make a video about this and document. It's just wild to me. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace out. Y'all, I realized I forgot to show you the clip with Elon Musk. And also, not only that, y'all, let me just make this quick comment before I show you the clip, before I forget. Excuse me, when I was referencing the basketball guys, I said a few of them added me at the beginning of the year. I said probably to be nosy in this kind of way. I didn't mean to say it like that. I don't have an issue with those dudes, and they all seem like cool dudes. I didn't mean to say it like that. The reason I emphasized it that way is because I want to make it clear that I don't feel like they're trying to get next to me or come on to me, because they have this, with the program, this complex that they think I'm this narcissistic thing that thinks everybody's trying to talk to me, and I don't feel that way at all. And those guys never reached out or tried to talk to me. They didn't like my pictures. I just wanted to make that clear. I feel like, out of curiosity, I've gotten a lot of friend requests from men and females. Like, you should see my inbox. It's like 1,000 and change in there. And I think it's just sheer, like, I don't want to say nosiness and, sound like I'm being a bitch, but just sheer curiosity, because it's like this freak show. Everybody's interested in seeing the spectacle because nothing like this has ever happened on Island. So that's why I said nosy like that. Like, I'm not saying these guys are nosy. I'm just saying, like everyone else, I think they're just fascinated with the situation. And so I think that's what that was. But none of them hit on me or tried to like my pictures or nothing weird, like nothing like that. They didn't come on to me. I'm just trying to tell you that I did have interaction, like very brief or minimal, excuse me, I need to blow my nose, with a few of those guys last year. And they were not used as gang stalkers on me. And then now they're using this one as a gang stalker, and I believe it's because he's in the sushi business. That's all I was saying. Okay, so let me play this Elon Musk video for you guys.
And a warning from Tesla Motors CEO Elon Musk. It has nothing to do with cars. Instead, Musk warns about artificial intelligence, which he has called more dangerous than nuclear weapons. Musk spoke at a symposium at MIT.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
I take it there will be no HAL 9000 going up to Mars.
HAL 9000 would be easy. It's way more complex than, I mean, it would put HAL 9000 to shame. Yeah. Sounds like a puppy dog.
Of course, referencing Space Odyssey. Following his next question, Musk blanked out and apologized, saying he was thinking about the AI thing for a second. So,
y'all heard that? He even blanked out after he made the joke. Like, they think he's joking, but low-key he's being serious about the technology being, like, summoning the demon. And she said he blanked out after he made the comment. So it's like, he even knows. Elon Musk, one of the progenitors and one of the people that's behind the whole thing, he even knows that it's something that's dangerous. Or, as Dr. Phil V said, it's becoming sentient. So that's, scary stuff. The capability of it, it's high science stuff, y'all, that we're dealing with. So don't be surprised by any odd thing that starts happening with your mental or neurologically, whatever. This is some high science technology that's, you're transhuman now, whether you like it or not. Once they put this in you, you are transhuman. So that's what's going on, y'all. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Peace out.